Who's there? Who's there on this gloomy Sunday afternoon? So we're going to be escaping lockdown today, and we are going to rural Suffolk to Fen Farm Dairy. I'm going to be joined shortly by Johnny Crickmore, the creator behind Baron Bigod. And in fact, we're going to go live to Johnny right now, who is in the milking parlour. Here he comes. Can you see me, Johnny? Hello, hello, hello. Waiting for Fen Farm Dairy. There he is. He found some headphones. We tried this the other day, and it didn't work so well because it's ever so noisy. Where are you, Johnny?
I'm in the milking parlour, so you can see a nice Montbéliarde just here. And around this side of me is where the cows are milked.
So we can see the girls there lined up, getting ready to be milked. Now, you said a quite important word. For those that don't know much about perhaps Fen Farm or Baron Bigod, the breed, Montbéliarde. Tell us a little bit about Montbéliarde. Why Montbéliarde?
So Montbéliarde, when we first looked into cheese making, several people told me about the importance of the quality of the milk. And this was our opportunity to, do something about it. We went out. We first of all looked up breeds of cows. What kind of breed was perfect for cheese making. And this breed here, these Montbéliardes, they are used quite commonly in France to make some of the great cheeses, Comté, Reblochon, Montbéliarde, and on they go. We went over to France, bought 72 cows, traded some Holsteins in, and that was 8 years ago now. And since then, the herd has been sort of gradually turning completely red and white.
Yeah. No, they're great. They're very beautiful animals as well. They seem pretty calm and happy doing what they're doing right there. And what is it about their milk that makes it so perfect for cheese making?
It's the fat and protein ratio is very good. That's one of the important things about cheese making, is for the balance of the fat to protein. There's not too much fat, not too little fat, and it works well with the protein. The other thing about it is the protein itself. So protein in milk, it's not all the same. So the type of protein the Montbéliarde has is really good for cheese making. It's the capitation, the little hairs which are around every protein. They're very strong in locking against other proteins. So the gelling, when you add rennet, the coagulation of the milk, it sets really well, and it's one of those. That's probably one of the main reasons.
So Johnny, let's come out now from your you're down at sort of udder level, aren't you? You're down in almost like in a garage when the guys go underneath your car to do the MOT. You're down in the pit there. If you could come up out of the pit, and we could perhaps have a look back and see the girls all lined up being milked, that would be lovely. I think for everybody to see that would be brilliant.
So this is this cow's mother was actually a Holstein. So she's a black and white Montbéliarde, and we'll head round this way.
Okay.
So you can see a lot of the red and white ones there. I love their big square heads. It's something I really am fond of square-headed cows for some reason. And
yeah,
one of the things.
They're a breed, I think, the Montbéliarde. They look good as well as make nice milk. Listen, when we spoke the other day, you weren't going to be making cheese today, were you? But obviously
No.
Plans have changed. We've got a question here from Cheese Academy. Is this the second milking today?
This is the second milking, yeah.
So what time was the number one?
First milking in the morning is at 4 a.m. And we started this afternoon at 3 a.m. Because it's such a special weekend to do with cheese, I thought, well, we can't not make cheese on a special weekend like this. So so we thought, well, why not? We're busy working away in the cheese building as we speak.
Fantastic. So listen, what's going to happen now is Johnny's going to remove his fantastically enormous headphones, rush round to the cheese-making facility, and we'll see him in a couple of minutes because there's no Wi-Fi between here and there. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes, Johnny, and I'll just chat about Fen Farm Dairy for a little bit while you're gone.
Okay.
All right. See you in a sec. And there goes Johnny. So we were just in the milking parlour there with Johnny Crickmore, surrounded by those beautiful Montbéliarde cows producing that incredible milk. It was really interesting what he was saying there about that casein protein, those little hairs. So the particular protein, it's not just the fat protein levels in the milk that's really special. It's actually even the type of protein and the structure of the protein itself. Long history of the Montbéliarde cow making beautiful, beautiful milk. And the cheeses that he was just tripping off there are some of the absolute all-time classics. Now, Baron Bigod, in fact, has not been made very long in this country. We're talking 6-7 years max. And it's already very much one of those kind of all-time classics. You know, you're seeing it on some of the best restaurants in. Lots of fans of Baron Bigod in Belfast. That's good to hear. How much cheese do you produce a week? Why don't they milk a couple of hours later, such as 6 a.m. and 5 p.m.? I would argue, I'm sure Johnny will give a clearer answer, but probably because that's when the cows need milking. Really, the cheesemaker's life is not their own. It is absolutely up to the cows. So, Castle Gwyn, I'm going to ask Johnny that. How much cheese do you produce a week? So, Keith, what inspired the name Baron Bigod? So, I've been told this by Johnny, who loves a good story. After the Norman Conquest, there's actually a castle just outside Bungay, which is on the other side of the Fen from where Fen Farm is. And the Baron there was Baron Bigod. So it was and is Bigod Castle. In fact, if you go back through Fen Farm's Instagram, maybe even only last week, I think there's a picture of Johnny standing outside a kind of an ivy-covered doorway through a stone wall. And Vicky, I will ask Johnny when he comes back, but he didn't actually say how many cows they have, so we'll ask him when he comes back in. But yeah, so he's run round. So this is really lucky, actually, because what we were going to be doing was having a chat as we walk through the cheese-making facility, you know, with all the echoing and nothing really happening. But obviously, as Johnny said, you know, there's going to be cheese making today, so we can see some of the curds in action, which is pretty cool. Steve Parker, Cheese and Wine. We are eating Baron Bigod while watching. Enhances the experience. Yeah, I wish I was. I haven't got any here. Unbelievable. Here we are. The Cheese Academy notes say that the milk is more suited to Alpine-style cheeses rather than more lactic styles like Brie. So why so well suited to Baron Bigod? That's definitely a question for Johnny. I'll see if I can remember to ask him that. That's a good question. So Baron Bigod, I've been working when I was a wholesale cheesemonger, I've been working with them from the beginning. So it's been really amazing to see how they've developed. But here we are, Fen Farm back in the room. Let's have a look. Go live with Fen Farm Dairy. Here he comes. So key tasting notes of Baron Bigod. I'd say it's got that kind of real kind of deep mushroomy vegetal flavour that you associate with those sort of white mold ripened cheeses, but it's also got, there's definitely that sort of beefy meatiness. There he is, there's the man himself in yet more excellent headgear. There he is. Somebody's asking you here, in normal times, can you go to the farm to buy? You can still go to the farm to buy, isn't that right, Johnny? Don't know if Johnny can hear me, actually. Can you hear? There he is, he's back on. You can hear me, Johnny, yeah?
Yeah, sorry, Sam. The Bluetooth.
Yet again. Somebody just asking, in fact, can you, in normal times, can you go to the farm and buy the cheese? But you can buy it now, can't you?
Sorry, Sam. Say again.
Just saying, you can buy Baron Bigod now. Someone was just asking about if you could buy it in normal times, but obviously you're still able to buy Baron Bigod, aren't you?
Yeah. We're in full production again. We're making cheese like we've never made cheese before right now. We had a
kind of fallow that gap that you've had.
Yeah, because of the uncertainty of where we were and how bad it was when everything was shut down. We stopped making cheese. No cheese for 2 whole weeks. And then from that point onwards, the next 2 weeks are very small makes. So it's now reversed, and everybody wants cheese again, it seems.
And everybody's back working as they were working before, and you're the full team again. That's just great news, really. And we're starting to see this a little bit more. I mean, obviously, some people are still very much struggling, but that initial, that we had a chat for the podcast, Sellerman podcast, what now, 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe, right at the beginning of it, I think. And you definitely had bigger bags under your eyes then. It was a much more kind of stressed looking Johnny than I'm seeing today. So it's good to see. But you were in the midst of the fallout, really, weren't you? That kind of week, 2 weeks after Friday the 13th.
Yeah, we were. Soft cheese seems to have struggled. It was harder hit than hard cheese. I think it was going back to the panic buying week. Everybody was buying things which were long shelf life, and our product wasn't. So yeah, it was a real challenging few weeks at the start.
Yeah. So we had, I'm just going to go back, we had a couple of questions while you were getting changed. We had Vicky who asked, how many cows do you have? How big is your herd?
Our herd is 300 cows.
300, there we are, 300 Vicky. Good round number there. And somebody else was asking a little bit, sort of a bit more technical about the milk. So the Montbéliarde is more traditionally suited to your Alpine style cheeses. What drew you? Is there a history of using it to make, the more sort of gluten rinded, mold rinded cheese?
What, the Montbéliarde? Well, it's not known typically for like bloomy rind cheese. You'd probably say Normandy cow was. Very similar, a very good cow for cheese making as well, cheese milk as well. The Montbéliarde, though, one of the cheeses I didn't mention was Vacherin. So the really gooey, runny cheese that you get at Christmas. It's so I think that sort of proves its point that the Montbéliarde is well, I'm kind of biased, but I'm going to say
yeah, it's the best.
Good at all cheeses.
We've got Fen Farm Dairy here saying hello, Daddy. So that's nice.
Oh.
There we are. Everybody's watching. That's good. Right, should we move through and have a little look at what's going on in the cheese bag?
Yeah.
So where are we right now? Where are you?
So it's quite noisy in here, but I brought you into the first room of the cheese building. So around this way is the cows. You can't see them; it's quite misty, but that's the milking parlour, and there's the milk pipe coming round, tanks, and this morning the milk was dropped into this tank here. We added all of our lactic bacteria to the milk in this tank, so it's not being cooled. It directly came from the cow. Sits in that tank. Wake up and they start to acidify the milk. So we wait for a precise moment of levels of acid, the level of the pH of the milk, before we move it to the next room. So this room in here, where I'm just standing, is 32 degrees, keeping the milk warm. And then we
never visited a cheese making facility. It's an incredible environment. It's very warm, very humid. Yeah, it's quite a specific aroma as well. Like, a combination of milk as well, actually, because everything is so rigorously cleaned at all times. It's a very specific dairy smell, I think, that you don't really get any.
No, it smells of. So this is the renneting room. Oh, I'm not very good with this camera. So all of these little vats are filled with milk using this blue pipe.
So I've got an interesting question just come up here, Johnny. does a little bit about seasonality. So does the taste change through the season as the grass changes? I guess as the feed changes, really. But maybe you could elaborate a little bit on how the milk behaves in a different way as well for, what is it, John Walker, I suspect. He's not used any vowels, but anyway.
Yeah, so the milk, the biggest effect what we see in the milk and the flavour of the cheese is down to the levels of the fat and protein above anything else. So the fat in particular, when you have summer milk, the fat in the milk is lower in saturate. So the cows are eating grass. Naturally, saturated fat goes down when cows eat grass, and that has an effect on the drainage. So when the whey is released from the curd, it affects it in a way where the end result is it actually encourages different kinds of molds and yeast. So there's a fine balance between the drainage and the moisture in the cheese, what grows in the cheese. So we've got many families of bacteria what grow on the cheese, but depending on what environment you're giving it, some will grow faster than others. So it's just think of it like like your garden. You know, if you give your garden more water, you will see a certain type of seed grow. If it's a dry environment, you'll see something else grow. So it's the same principle.
So you're a farmer on many levels, Johnny. You're a farmer out in the fields, but actually you're farming, a microflora as well on your cheeses as well.
Absolutely.
From Keith. Is it possible to freeze Baron Bigod? If so, how? And what will it be like when defrosted?
So yes, it is. It's fine to freeze the cheese. The quality will never be quite the same as a fresh product, but what we find when the cheese is frozen is that the curd, when it's defrosted, is still very tasty. The rind goes a little bit ivory, sort of like grey. I guess that the rind was sort of being killed to a point, and that's the only sort of effect what we see where the cheese, doesn't look like it's sort of, it's affected.
I mean, I guess that's quite a relevant question now as well. When you were talking at the beginning about people buying these longer age cheeses, actually, it won't have the same quality outcome perhaps as buying a piece of Baron Bigod and eating it, within the week kind of thing. But the options are there for people, I guess. So whereabouts are we at now? Maybe if you could just sort of take your phone and just show us the room, and we've got the milk.
So that's where the milk was going this morning, and that's where we renneted the milk. So now we've got curds and whey, and once the whey is removed, we then head into this room where we had a few of our cheese elves here.
Hello.
Quickly running away.
Not one for cameras. Oh dear.
So we're in the room where the cheese is currently, and all of these hoops have got curd in them. So this is the cheese to be, and we were labelling all of the milk this morning. What became curd was labelled into these hoops by hand. Now, during the rest of the day, you can see here Steve and Mark are turning the cheeses. So.
Do you get an idea from the noise, actually, how heavy that is? That's really graft. That's hard work, that.
It's really hard, yeah. And again, you've got to remember the temperature in here is 32 degrees.
Yeah.
So it's still very warm.
We've got a question here. Actually, Michael, sorry, you asked this question earlier. How many do you generally process into cheese?
How many litres of milk? So it varies during the year. Right now, because we're catching up, we're processing about 20,000 litres this week. but it just varies. Our cheese, Baron Bond, the last few years it's been very, our sales have grown. So year on year we've made making more cheese.
Mm-hmm. So your sale, you said you got back to kind of normal production, which, just to give a bit of context for everybody, as a primarily of wholesale hospitality trade, and like every other cheese maker in your position, you lost around 80% of your revenue overnight. Really, of that trade, it just disappeared. So the market that you're now serving is all retail, online sales and things like that. Are you selling very much into the wholesale market at all?
It's every week is different since the shutdown, and right now we're finding a lot of our wholesaler customers, our customers who have been with us through the years, are now purchasing more cheese again, which is great. But it's still obviously not going into restaurants where such a large percentage of our trade was going. We're seeing all strange different things every week. I think right now the effect of why we're selling so much is partially down to people not making cheese still. Some people are in areas where their staff have to be furloughed, or they have actually got coronavirus. So, there is nothing normal right now. But for us, the demand is high, and so we keep making.
Yeah, well, that's great news. We have a question actually from a couple of people. What does 20,000 litres of milk give you in terms of cheeses?
It's roughly about 8 litres, 8.2 litres of milk. The milk gives a kilogram of cheese. Okay,
there you go. So get your calculators out. I'm not going to anyway, so should we move through? Let's say thanks very much from everybody to the Cheese Elves, because that's really brilliant to be making on a Sunday. Yeah, we're happy to see them at work. That's awesome. So where are we now, Johnny?
So this is our salting room. So I'm not very good with videos, as you can see. This bit of kit salts the cheese. So it's just very simple. It's a little conveyor belt where you put the racks of cheese over there, and that just passes along this conveyor belt, and the little box up there sprinkles the salt on it. So this room is very dry. Again, it's about 30 odd degrees, but it's a really dry heat, not a moist heat. So we then move from the making room to the maturing room. So there's nothing in this room. There. So this room.
You sold it all.
Yeah, this. The first room is maturing. We call it the hastener room, and it's about 18 degrees, and it's just the last of the drainage. It's post-salting. It's last of the drainage, and we're turning the cheese daily in this room. There's no mould on the cheese yet.
And you're generally speaking, you're maturing the cheese to about 6 to 8 weeks before you send it out. Is that right? Oh, we've lost you a bit there. Johnny, if you can hear me, maybe if you go back towards where the office is, we could get better Wi-Fi, because I suspect you're surrounded by Alan Hayes' excellently built. Yeah, can you hear me? I think we're about to lose Johnny. There he is.
Yeah, I'm back.
You're back. That's all right. I was just asking, it's about 6 to 8 weeks before you release the cheese, is that right?
Yeah, we like to sell the cheese around 6 to 7 weeks, but we'd like to see the cheese eaten around 7 to 8 to 9 weeks. So yeah, we hold it for that period of time at the farm.
There we are. Johnny, I'm wondering if you move through to perhaps, I don't know where your router is for the Wi-Fi, but you keep cutting out, so maybe we can move through to where the office is and taste some of the cheese.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give it a try. I don't know whether you can see. That's one of the maturing rooms. Did you see that, Sam?
Yeah, we saw that. That's great. So that's rack upon rack of the Baron Bigod there. It's developed its sort of floral rind. It's yeah, there we are. Look at that little microbiome on the rind there. So the smell in these rooms is really interesting. It's still got that kind of, sweet dairy and bleach smell, but it develops that kind of really ammonic aroma as well. That kind of, almost sensation as much as smell. So yeah, specific these smells. I wish there was a kind of smell-o-vision option for this. Maybe next time we do British Cheese Weekend, there'll be a smell-o-vision session.
I'm sure it will come.
Yeah. Things move swiftly. So where are we heading now? We're heading into, so that's past the big.
Yeah, so hopefully the signal's okay.
There, that was an enormous dishwasher, which is an integral part of any cheese making exercise. Is that constant cleaning? Really, that struck me the first time I visited. It's just how much time is actually spent scrubbing as making cheese, if not more, I reckon. So this is the room. This is the packing room.
Yeah, we've gone past the packing room, but this is the final stage of where it matures in our building. So the cheeses are all put in paper and a box, and then it's just stored in crates. Nothing too glamorous really, but it's just on trolleys in the boxes. And here we've got, unfortunately, not a lot of cheese because we've sold it all. But
that's right.
This at Christmas time, this big room is full to the brim of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
But
it makes a good point. It's not just Baron Bigod. You have delicious butter, sort of world-beating butter, really lovely. You can also buy raw milk from the farm. Which is wonderful. There it is, the Bungay butter, and as well the skyr. The skyr is on the market now.
Not quite. It's nearly there, but yeah, you'll be seeing Neil Giada going to start selling some in a couple of weeks' time. We're just doing early stages of selling some and just getting feedback. So we're kind of going steady. But it is now happening.
There we go. That's fantastic. And someone's just asking here, which is a really good question, actually, for cheesemakers. What happens to the whey?
The whey, there's so many jokes you could go with whey. That's
I'll leave that for you, Johnny. That can be your sign-off, if you like.
The whey moves away down that way.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, no, we collect it in IBCs at the bottom of the farm, and we then feed it to the cattle. So it goes to a lot of our store cattle, our yearling or 1 to 2 year old animals. We mix it in with some of their forage, and they eat it. It's still got a lot of protein in it, so seems to work fine.
Well, and that kind of ties in with another subject that I think we won't be able to have time to touch on today, but the way that you're developing your farm as a kind of a closed circle, if you like. So fully sustainable, fully kind of self-sustaining, environmentally friendly, feeding the way back to the cattle, but also things like, the thermal heat coming off the cow shed and all of that. But I wonder if we should save that conversation for another time, because we've got people leaving to go to the next session. If you want to know more about what's happening this afternoon, go to the Academy of Cheese website. It's all up there. But maybe very quickly, you can give us a quick tasting experience for us poor folk that haven't got a piece of Baron Bigod in front of them. You can just give us a few tasting notes on what to look for.
So this cheese, this is the cheese which is kind of at the stage where we sell it. So what you're looking at here is the mold which grows around the outside of the cheese is maturing the curd, and you can see the difference between how it's breaking down the curd around the outside to where the curd is, and in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that will all disappear and it will all be gooey. But one of the things, if you can try and find some of our cheese, and you know, a lot of the soft cheeses would be the same. Tunworth, another great cheese. You know, you'll find the little curdy bit in the middle, and actually it makes the cheese really interesting. Oh, there, it's all fallen apart.
I actually love that. You've got that extra little element. It's kind of, you've got all that sort of oozy, you know, meaty deliciousness under the rind there, but then it's a real fresh kind of yogurty kick from that sort of slightly more crumbly, curdy centre. So it's a kind of a, you know, it's a multi-layered taste sensation, Johnny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a delicious cheese, and I'm a bit gutted I haven't got any in front of me, but anyway, next time. We've got all sorts of people. Keith there licks the screen. We've got, by God, it's so good. Yeah, I think so. But look, lots of really, really lovely feedback there. Thank you so much for your time, Johnny. That's been really brilliant. We should definitely do some more of these, just for my own sort of learning process. That's great. But yeah, thank you.
I've enjoyed it. It's a kind of, I feel like I'm Annika Rice or something.
You're much better looking than Annika Rice, Johnny. It's fine. Don't worry. So where are you off to now? What's the rest of the afternoon for Johnny Crickmore Farmer?
So as soon as I finish here, I'm going to help the guys in the parlour bring in the next group of cows in. So we've got 2 groups of cows out grazing at the moment. So I'm going to bring the next group in for them. I'm kind of like here, there and everywhere sort of person today. So just sort of finishing things off, and then hopefully we'll be back. I'll be back later on to have dinner with the kids and
Lovely. All right then. Well, thank you, Johnny. Cheers. Thanks everybody for watching, taking part. Lovely to see you. Enjoy the rest of the British Cheese Weekender. Cheers.